Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Gregg Swanson, an executive performance coach for high-achieving men who understand that burnout doesn't always show up as failure. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet exhaustion while still performing, providing, and pretending everything's fine. Gregg's work is deeply personal. After surviving divorce, bankruptcy, identity collapse, and even a deadly avalanche, he rebuilt himself from the inside out and uncovered a truth many men never voice. Success means nothing if you lose yourself in the process. Gregg, a very, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Wow, thank you, Zach. That was quite the introduction. I am very honored with that, and I appreciate you making time for me on the show.
Going to be a pleasure. I pulled all that from your social media, so please, no reason to be modest. Appreciate you coming on, Gregg. It's going to be a tremendous episode. Before we really dive in, I do like to start with your background, though. So I know I touched on it briefly, but if you could walk us through what you were doing before coaching, and really what your inspiration to get into coaching was, that would be awesome.
Okay, great. So first, I was born at a very early age, and we'll start from there.
Good start.
So my first half of my life was in corporate sales. I was in high-tech telecom sales, worked for AT&T, Lucent, customers like T-Mobile, and was with them for about 20 years, and really had a good time at it, but then things started to wane. The enjoyment went over, was putting in more hours, and it wasn't that I wasn't getting the revenue, I wasn't getting the pleasure out of it anymore. So I guess the universe was speaking, and I got downsized. And at that point, it took about a year for reflection as to what's the next journey. And with that, coaching arise, because I would look back on the conversations I would have with my clients, and it was always, hey, what do you recommend here? What should I do here? And it wasn't nothing to do with sales. It was all about helping them live their life. And so then I thought that would be a great opportunity. I went to coaching school. And from there on, I just figured, the mind is really the powerful part of any coaching or about anybody's results. So I focused on mental performance.
Love that. So how long ago was that? How long ago did you go to coaching school and you went coaching full time?
I've been coaching full time for 20 years.
Wow. Wow.
So two big careers, one in sales, which is kind of, you're communicating, and then one in coaching, which is you're communicating again.
You were a coach in 2005, when
Correct.
I'm going to assume that there were not many coaches out there. When you told people you were a coach, I'd assume they ask, oh, what team? What sports do you coach?
Well, that was the first one. And then when I said, oh, no, not that coach, and they go, oh, I don't need your help. I'm perfectly fine. Right. So they would confuse coaching with therapy. And, I'm not crazy. I don't need any help. I'm going, no, but are you getting everything you want? No. So let's coach. Well, no, and there's nothing wrong with me.
Overall mindset of not even individuals, but just culture as a whole. And I'm sure you could talk about that for a long time. It's definitely shifted where now a lot of people have coaches. I have coaches. I'm sure you have coaches.
Oh, yeah. And it's one of those shifts that it's been wonderful to be in the coaching business to see this shift. Because at one point, people would thought they could just throw up a shingle and say I'm a coach because they can give advice. And I keep telling people that's like saying you can add numbers, it doesn't make you a CPA. Right? So the coaching industry has become more respected as time has gone on, with the help of ICF and some other people, and Tony Robbins and others. So I think it's it's accepted more now than it was when I first started.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. So, coaching for 20 years now may be the longest tenured coach I've had on the show. So, could we turn this into a two hour episode? We absolutely could. I promise, Gregg, I get him out on time. So we'll skip forward a little bit. Let's dive into the coaching business today, 2025, almost 2026. What does working with Gregg look like? Who are you typically working with? How do you structure your work? Everything like that.
Perfect. So I typically work with men between 35 and 55 that are, you know, directors, executives that have this passion and drive to achieve, but the old expression, they're burning the candle at two ends, and their life suffers, and they're out of shape, and they're all of the other stuff that goes along with it. And one of my main points is that they are the center of what they create, right? They are the center of their world, of their business, and if they don't take care of themselves, what they produce is going to be lacking. So really hit home on, well-being, if you want to call it, or anti-burnout, anti-fragile part of it. And it's challenging with guys because we have these big egos and we go, oh, we don't need any help. We'll just push through it. And we push through it and then we end up exhausted with a heart attack or some other
Mm,
means.
mm.
And so,
Especially
right. And so,
executive them.
I'm sorry. Yeah, right, right. And it is. And it's not that I don't work with females either. It's just I'm a man. I know what we think. I know how we push. When I was in sales, it was long hours and long days, and I had a big territory. And so I go back and show them that experience going, if I could do it over again, it would be a lot different. I probably would still be in it because I didn't get burned out from it. But so that's kind of where I go. And I use a long time ago, HubSpot talked about inbound marketing, right? And I really, really liked that idea and I embraced it completely by putting content and putting videos and putting articles out there that will generally help people get them to think and then reach out. And we have a discovery call, for lack of a better word, to see if we
Mhm.
can work together. And all my coaching programs are customized. I don't have a boilerplate that I follow. I found that, yeah, you may be able to do mass production of bring clients in through it, but the clients tend to get better results when it's focused on them personally, right? So it's
Mm.
what's first for them as a priority, and how can we work that in those things. So I don't have like a template.
Yeah, very custom, especially for something as personal as this, right? I mean, you're essentially covering every facet of their lives with them: work, finance, marriage, kids, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Mm.
Right. So I look at, there's a tool that's used in coaching called the Wheel of Life, right? And it's either seven or eight slices in it. It has career, relationship, finance, health and fitness, community, and some other ones. And they're in the center of it. So if they want to have, that part of that Wheel of Life expand, they need to work on themselves. And then I work on them on four pillars: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual.
Mm.
Um, get out of all my clients, I have yet to find one that is working on all four of those areas. We have to bring one up. And I don't have time and I can't do it. And do you have 1 minute? Well, yeah, so you can do this. And so I look at the wheel of life, where they are, where they have the flat spot on the tire, and do they want to improve it? And then we look at how can we incorporate a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual component into their life to smooth out that tire.
Mm. Since you are working with them, like we talked about, so deeply, how long are you typically working with your clients for?
So for the per session, so there's the per session, which is 45, but the actual duration is minimum of 12 weeks. I just
Mm.
don't take anybody less than 12 weeks unless they've worked with me before, and then I'll do a customized short. But 12-week usually gets a person to chip away at the limiting beliefs and the things that they think are wrong. And then after 12 weeks, we do another 12 weeks to um, put in place the systems that are going to help them. Because
Mm.
with burnout, it's not just anti burnout. We can do that and that would get us back to zero. But what most people want to do is excel. So we have to take care of what's holding them back and then put in places to get them. So if you look at a scale, right, -1 is burnout, back to normal is zero, but +1 is moving forward. So we have to go along this whole continuum. So that from -0 or -1 to zero is 12 weeks. Then from zero to +1 is another 12 weeks minimum.
Mm. Yep. Yep. That kind of work takes a while. So you mentioned, I think you said 45-minute session. So are you doing a lot of one-on-one work with your clients?
Currently, right now, that's where it inhibits revenue but I have training classes and stuff on the side. It inhibits revenue, but it produces great results. So it's easier to get referrals.
Uh, okay. Okay. So the strategy for the business, it sounds like what I'm hearing, quality over quantity right now. And that'll drive the referrals, which kind of drives the back end.
Correct, correct.
Okay.
And eventually there is a vision of growing that, even larger than just one-on-one or having one-on-one exclusively for me and then maybe have some other things going on. But right now it's where I can really work the best is one-on-one.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned marketing a little while ago, content articles. Walk us through your current content strategy when it comes to social media.
Just write like crazy. No. So I generally look at doing a blog post and then reconverting that into an article, all with call to actions on it. But where I really like to focus a lot is on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
That's where all the professionals hang out and all the other. So I have a newsletter on LinkedIn that I think has 20,000 subscribers. And then I have 200 followers, 200,000 followers on LinkedIn. So I do a lot of content on LinkedIn, videos, writing stuff. I do some polls, and it's all just to create trust, right? Because we can all do an intro call at some point, but why would a person want to even inquire if they don't know me or trust me or based on my information? So I put a lot of
Hmm.
time into not just articles on anti-burnout, but also performance. Again, playing both
Hmm.
sides of that. So I'll put stuff on LinkedIn once a day for the week and do a blog post. And I have a podcast that's been around for 10 years, 470, 749 episodes already.
Very
So
nice.
I have a podcast out there as well, and just try to let the recipients get great information to help them. If I can't coach them, at least they can have the information.
Yeah. 200,000 followers on LinkedIn. Quite impressive. I'm going to ask, when did you start your LinkedIn account to start that process?
Right when it happened, when I was in sales, so well over 20 years ago. And my strategy then was every client I would look on LinkedIn and connect with. If I found a book that I like, I'd look up the author, connect with them on LinkedIn. Every time I read an article, whether it's through Forbes, whatever, I looked up the person, I would connect with them on LinkedIn. I would just be a connection fiend. And this was before all the regulations that LinkedIn had. So I just kept doing it well over 20 years.
Wow. Hey, I mean, that speaks to consistency, right? You
Yeah,
built that up and you got 20, I think you said 20,000 subscribers to your newsletter.
yeah,
That's a gold mine these days. I mean, you know
yeah. Oh,
how
yeah.
popular newsletters are getting.
Correct. And it's really enjoyable to look back and see, oh, you've been in the connection with this person for 15 years. Like, wow, that's a long time.
Very nice. Very nice. When it comes to LinkedIn, um, I feel like the AI kind of slop is very prevalent on LinkedIn and especially in the DMs. I go
Yes.
on LinkedIn and I got, 10 unsolicited people just trying to sell me something. How do you handle the conversations in the DMs? Because this is very important.
Right. So when I get them, I will usually, depending on my mood for the day, will either go, how well is this working for you? Perhaps you need a different mindset. Contact me for coaching. Because if somebody's going to send it to me, I'm also like, hey, let me turn it around. Right? And so then I usually don't hear from them anymore. But myself with DMs, I really want to make sure that I've either warmed up the person before I say, hey, I want to give you a gift or whatever. It's just like we've been connected for a few years. I warm up that person again. I mean, you can't keep track of 200,000 people. I mean, even 10,000. So I'll find people who are in the target range that I'd like to reach out. How are things going? What's going on? I know we haven't talked for a while. Just start that before I even position myself as, hey, let's get on a call.
Hmm.
So for receiving unsolicited DMs, I usually bounce back, offering them coaching to help them with their style, sales coaching. And
Yeah,
reaching out, it's more of, that warm and nurturing part.
I love it. Got to warm them up. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, it
So
really is. I mean, like you said, you get all of these and it's like, hi, and you're not even the first name. And it's just horrible.
there's a lot of horrible out there on every social media, not just
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Of course, of course. So, I mean, you've been coaching for so long. Have you ever had a team that's worked with you to support you in any way, or are you always a one-man show?
I tend to use freelancers when things get overwhelming, either for graphic productions or websites or video editing and stuff. But I've gotten into a habit where I have a routine. I go to the gym very early in the morning and come back, and then I do my posting from 6 to 7 and do some writing from 7 to 8. And then my clients start at 9, and then I'll usually end the day at 2, go for a walk, come back, finish up. So I'm in a really good rhythm. But when it's like right now, I'm putting together a training program, I will outsource some of that creative material because it just takes up so much time.
Mm. That's a big part of an entrepreneur's journey, right? Is
Oh,
finally understanding when it's time to outsource.
yeah, right. Because you look at it, well, I can do it myself. Well, if I was getting paid $200 an hour and it takes me an hour to do that, but that person will only charge me 20, well, then let me pay the 20 because I would be losing 200. So it just doesn't make sense at some point.
I'm sure you cover that with your clients a lot.
Oh, yes. Right. I mean, don't do something yourself. If you were to pay yourself $500 an hour, why would you go do something that you could hire somebody for $10 an hour to do?
Sounds simple, but sometimes it's
Right.
tough letting go.
Right. And that's part of, right, that anti-fragile, anti-burnout. Not everything has to be done by you. And, control freaking is it's not a good thing.
Well said. Well said. I'm curious about the podcast, 700 plus episodes. Are those solo episodes? Do you typically have guests on? How do you structure that?
I started out with a partner, and we just kind of like did a chat back and forth. He would come in and do interviews, and then he went his separate way. And then I started doing guests every month. Would do a guest, and then I found that some of the guests were challenging to work through. And so I just decided, okay, if I was going to coach, how would I coach people? And so I pick a topic and I walk through it and help people. So now it's mainly me doing solo work, but coming again in 2026, looking to do it, shift it a little bit. I've met some people here up in Monument, in Castle Rock, that has a studio that they do podcasts. So looking to partner with them and do maybe a conversational podcast once a month as well.
Very cool. There's definitely some cool studios out there, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
Love it. Love it. Greg, just because you've been in the industry for so long, I really want to get your opinion on the coaching industry as a whole, right? I mean, it just absolutely blew up post-COVID, right?
Yep.
Everyone and their mother is a coach now. What is your opinion on the coaching industry? It doesn't just have to be, for executives, it could be, any fitness coaching, relationship coaching, whatever it is. What's your opinion on the current state of it?
I think coaching has been watered down a bit because there's so many people in it. And when I went, it was a year-long process to get my certification. Now you can get it in a weekend. I mean, how can you can't compare the quality of education and role playing every year to that. So I think at one level it's watered down, and because of the lack of commitment, I'll just say that, of some of the coaches, they charge like $10. And so people get used to saying, well, $10, how come you charge what you charge? And I'm going, well, you're not paying my time, you're paying my knowledge. So I think there's going to be probably a bigger split coming up. Those that, and if they can help people at $10 an hour, great, right? It doesn't mean you have to charge a lot to help people, but if it presents an image of coaching isn't that valuable, then people aren't going to take it that serious. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things I'm seeing. And now throw AI into it, and there's companies, coaching companies out there that have included AI coaching with a backup of a live coach as an extra incentive. And people go, oh yeah, I got the answer from Chat or Claude or whatever it might be, but they forget to recognize that that's a benign person or entity, right? So they don't have that coaching experience. They don't have that visual acuity. So I think right now the coaching industry is expanding, but I think it's a lot of lesser qualified processes there to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to ask, because you brought up pricing a little bit, it's got to hurt a little bit when people invest for them to take it seriously. Have you found that to be true?
Right. And it's not about gouging, but
Yeah.
when you charge 5,000 for 12 weeks, people show up. They put
Mm.
the work in. If you charge $10 an hour, they're going to skip sessions and they're not going to show up. It's like, when you buy a Porsche, you're going to take care of the car. You buy a 37, I was going to say Studebaker, you take care of that too, but right, an older car, right? You're just not going to give it the same attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and again, both sides play a role in helping people. But I have found that when you have them put skin in the game, their time, their money, their effort, give them field work to do that, they get more out of it.
Hmm. No doubt. No doubt. That is for sure. Gregg, we talked about a couple things in the future, maybe some more programs to maybe increase the quantity a little bit of clients. We talked about the podcast for next year. Any specific goals you've set for yourself in the business for next year you're looking to achieve?
Well, I'd like to focus a little bit more on training, online training, for lack of a better word for it.
Mm.
Have one of the trainings really specifically for men to, help themselves go through it with a community side to it. Not like a Facebook group, but have that, and so I can work with those individuals completely. And then looking to put on actually certifiable programs that I can work with ICF and even some of the fitness industries. I had one a couple of years ago that was approved by CrossFit and NSCA, and through COVID and stuff, those things stopped being there. But I found that putting in continuing ed credit programs will help the fitness trainer, the athletic trainer, and the regular coach understand mindset a lot better. And I think that would be a great way, instead of me coaching coaches one on one, put together the training to help them.
There are tons of fitness coaches out there, so there's a lot of
Yes,
people to reach. Absolutely. Gregg, where I know we talked about LinkedIn, are there any other social media where you're active where the listeners can find you?
absolutely. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all under Warrior Mind Coach. So if you go any of those and look up Warrior Mind Coach, I'll come up there.
Perfect. Warrior Mind Coach. And where can we find the podcast?
That's on every platform, but it can be, you can find it off my site as well. There's a tab for blogs and podcasts, but it's on iHeartRadio, it's on Spotify, it's on all the major podcast platforms, iTunes, all of them.
Perfect. Gregg, it was a pleasure having you on, my friend. Great conversation. Thank you for your time.
Zach, thank you so much. It was a great joy for myself, and thank you again for asking me on.
Absolutely, my friend. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of The Founder's Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Gregg on all of his social media. Check out the podcast, go to his website as well. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.